This is taking longer than I'd planned.
Well? You would have me spread my forces across the realm to search for nightmares you dredged up from a bottle?
It's not!
Or should I say, the whispers of eastern vipers tickling your ears?
But Mother!
Enough! Then next you come before me to vomit up your counsel. Make sure it doesn't stink of treason.
Damn the man. He wouldn't let me get a word in edgewise. Mother always knew how to talk to him. Me, not so much. Mother had a way with Father, but she could be just as stubborn. If she wanted something done and he wouldn't oblige, she'd do it herself. Time to take her lessons to heart, I guess. If my father won't take a stand, then I suppose it's up to me. Our kingdom consists of 3 holds. Halfingar, Hjalmarch, and Karthald. I need to warn them. The Jarls might listen, even if my father won't. I'm the daughter of the High King, after all. Time to start acting like one. Will you come with me? We should visit Jarl Redharn of Hjalmarch first. If we can convince him of the threat, at least his hold can take steps to protect itself. We'll find him in his hall in Morthal. I'll leave word for Lyris with Mog, so she'll know where to find us. Honestly, I don't know. But Jarl Redharn tempers his warrior nature with a kindness not often seen in people of his stature. Besides, he's always had a soft spot for me ever since his daughter and I played together at moots and other gatherings. I remember a time when we were all happy together. Him and Mother and I. Seems like a long time ago. At some point, he became more and more involved with the trappings of power. He was more interested in being the High King than my father. I tried, but interaction with my father made it difficult. She wanted us to be a family. But the High King wanted a queen and a princess. Eventually, he stopped ordering me to attend royal functions. It was my one victory in our relationship.
What?
Assassins tried to kill the High King. They murdered Queen Gerhild.
Our poor king must be devastated. The princess, too. What a sad day.
Lucky Mog passed along your message. I would have hated to miss all this mud.
Why does the Princess of Solitude grace my humble hall with her royal presence? Are you here on behalf of the High King?
I've come to warn you, Jarl Redharn.
Warn me? I already received orders from your father. What more is there to say?
Orders? Right. But you need to prepare the hold's defenses.
And what must we defend ourselves against this time? More urns and fetishes?
Please, Jarl Redharn, let my friend explain. The threat to our holds is worse than you can imagine.
You're not the subject of this realm, and that woman with you. She's the Giantess of the East. The High King warned us to beware of Pact spies. If Princess Svanna trusts you, however, you have my ear. Tell me about this threat. We're not Daedra worshippers. Our blood's hot enough to boil a blizzard. We've got more pressing concerns than some northern squall. We received Svargrim's orders, promptly ignored them, and immediately ran afoul of a gaggle of Reachmen. The High King sent a royal decree, said to leave any strange objects or fetishes we spotted around the hold alone. They were dangerous, he said. Just so happens we found a few. I had my soldiers destroy them. That's when we encountered the Reachmen. The barbarians reacted poorly when we destroyed the strange witch sticks. We beat them back and chased them into the nearby barrow. But that was the last I heard from my soldiers. Since you dealt with this before, would you investigate the barrow? If I were a few years younger, and had more soldiers to spare, I'd march east to the Morthal barrow and deal with the sorceress nonsense myself. But I'm not, I don't, and I have other responsibilities. Take this key. It will get you into the barrow. They were tall, ugly things, covered in strange runes, fetishes, and a poultice that smelled like rotting fungus. They had been set up around the town. My soldiers assumed they'd find one at the barrow, but instead they sent word of the Reachmen. Really? Last I heard, the princess was more interested in... No, I won't indulge in idle gossip. Svanna carries herself well. Not with the grace of her mother, but she has the swagger of a warrior. I wish I could say the same about my daughter. She was taken from us 5 years ago. If I had pushed her harder, she might have had the strength to survive. Daughters are a father's greatest weakness. Enough troubles of the past. We have the present to concern ourselves with.
See that mound? That's the barrow. The entrance will be down below.
Keep back! The barrow is unsafe.
Jarl Redharn sent us. What happened here?
Reachmen. Let's talk if you want details. You, sir! The barrow is off limits. We are here to make sure nothing gets in or out, and will do so by any means necessary. I did not want to spare the soldiers I'd left to send a message. We destroyed a number of strange sticks set up on the outskirts of town. Then we reached the barrow. We spotted a few Reach barbarians. I sent word and we charged after them. A storm appeared in the barrow, if you could believe such a thing. It was foul magic, almost certainly. Soldiers began changing around me, dying or falling into a stupor. Some turned into monsters, and then the Draugr clawed out of their graves. We never made it that far inside, and when the storm hit, It was all I could do to get out and seal the door behind us. If the Jarl sent you, and you're intent on entering the burrow, I won't stop you. But if you emerge as a monster...
Those bodies, they're the Jarl's soldiers.
A meager harvest. This grey reliquary must be moved to more fruitful fields. Protect the witch pike. Do not let them destroy it.
That's done. Let's tell the Jarl what happened here. If I never have to enter another barrow, it will be too soon. No sign of that witch or the reliquary she ran off with. We should get back to the Jarl's Hall. We saw the last stand of what could have been a much larger attack on Morthal. The witch pike in the barrow was the only one that wasn't destroyed before they performed the ritual. Soldiers were caught in the Harrowstorm, but the town was spared. That's what happened in Kilcreath after the storm hit. I'm more curious about the witch, though. Why was that gray reliquary important enough for her to grab it and run off as soon as she spotted us? Come on, let's go talk to Jarl Redharn.
And then Mog threw up all over the Sword Thane's boots.
Ha! This orc friend of yours sounds... Ah, your companion's return. Well, friend of Svanna, are you as good as your word? Tell me what you discovered at the Morthal Barrow. A harrow storm, like the thing the princess was telling me about? The thing that destroyed Kilcreath? Gods! A pox on the Reach and its barbarian horde! What else? What about the Reachman in the barrow? Disappointing, but not unexpected. Reach witches are a tricky lot. Still, you have my thanks. In the meantime, Hjalmar shall prepare for war. We may not have a defense against the harrow storms, but we can be ready to attack once we have a target.
With you and Lyris's help, we've gained the trust of Jarl Redharn. My father respects the Jarl. That will go a long way in convincing the High King to take the Coven's threat seriously. Now we need to do the same thing at Carthald. Jarl Ulfwen rules the Hold, which was established to provide a defensible border against the Reach. If any of the Western Holds can deal with this threat, it's Carthald. But first, I have one more thing to discuss with Jarl Redharn. Jarl Redharn, prepare your forces as you say. But we need you in Solitude.
Solitude? I have troubles here in Hjalmarch. Why should I leave when my hold needs me?
High King Svargrim won't listen to us, but he might listen to you.
Get up, Princess. If you think it will help, I'll talk to your father.
Lyris, please escort the Jarl to Solitude.
Of course. What about you?
We need to warn Jarl Ulfwen, so we're going to Carthald.
Enslavement of us all, the god of schemes, the prince of pain.
Wolf attacks? Ghosts? Reachman raids? I'm getting out of this town. Word of warning. Don't wander around the outskirts of Morthal if you can avoid it. Something evil stalks the hills. Make no mistake. That's what they're saying down at the tavern. Ghosts appearing from snowstorms. Undead attacks on the road. Just as I left, a group of farmers came into town, shouting about skeleton wolves. These woods are cursed! Headed towards the middle of town seeking help, last I saw. Lady Ninetha usually assists the wounded after animal attacks. But she can't handle something unnatural like this on her own. If you're willing, maybe you could offer some help? I'm sure she'd appreciate your assistance. As for me, I'm getting as far from here as possible until this blows over. Hopefully this blows over soon so I can come back. I prefer Morthal when it's quiet. She is Jarl Redhand's wife, but that doesn't really describe everything she does for Morthal. She watches over people here, sorts out disputes, makes sure people get help when injured, that sort of thing. Hopefully she figures this all out.
Wolves of ice and bone attacked Brune, my lady, and he saw ghosts.
Ghosts? Nonsense. Get him to the inn and I'll do what I can.
Come on, let's warm you up.
The rubes and oafs that reside in this town see spooks under every fish barrel. Normal animal attacks become works of supreme evil in their minds. My husband and I have too much on our plate to spend time investigating every wolf bite. I couldn't get much out of Brune, but it seems wolves attacked Havel's farm over to the west. He claims the beasts were only bones and covered in ice. I'm not inclined to believe him. People here tend to view the truth through their mead. Wolf packs do roam around the outskirts of town. Occasionally they snatch away a chicken or a goat. But attacking groups of people is unusual. Tell you what, could you go to the farm and get the truth? There would be coin in it for you. Excellent. The people of Morthal are basically good. They just let their imaginations run wild. Learning the truth of this attack could help curb any future issues with the wolves. I'll check on Brune at the tavern. His shivering concerns me. Oh, one can't live in this world without encountering a stray spectre. Seeing chains drop from the sky changes what we accept as normal. And magic impacts all our lives, of course. Let's say I'm skeptical. The people of Morthal spend their days fishing, cutting logs, and drinking. They don't leave town, and outsiders don't visit. Spreading wild tales is what passes for entertainment here. Last week, Bandor accused Invisible Reeker of stealing his beard comb. The mill ceased operation completely while the town searched for holes in the ground where they might be hiding. We found it in the stables where he'd been grooming the horses. Indeed. I am proud to call him my husband. Without his strength, this town would certainly fall apart. When I arrived in Morthal for our wedding, I believed my life was over. But Redheart made us a fine home here, for which I am grateful. Gods, no. I hoped my diction would show that. Perhaps I've lived here long enough to adopt their backwards speech. I came from Solitude originally.
My father was a wealthy merchant who needed access to Morthal's lumber. Thus, my wedding.
Here before those zombies get you. Are you mad? Don't step foot anywhere near that farm. Those bone wolves will rip you apart limb from limb. They turned everyone there into zombies. By Moloch's nethers, what else would you call them? Felt like just a normal day of working the field. Then a freak storm blows in. Heard whispers on the wind, and saw a woman's ghost in the snow. That's when the beast swarmed from nowhere. Anyone brought down by wolves turned. Their skin shriveled and froze before my eyes. Then they attacked me. People I've known for years. Havel, the guy who owns the farm, holed up in the house. Could you check on him? I'm worried for his safety. Still think you're mad, but I appreciate that you're willing to check on Havel. He's a grumpy old coot, but he doesn't deserve whatever this is. You'll need a key to the house. One of the farmhands should have one, if you can take it from them. When those bone wolves came out of the storm, we scattered. Some people tried to defend themselves with rakes, but we're farmers, not warriors. Other than myself and maybe Havel, I don't know who else is still alive. Brune's still alive? One of those tusking wolves latched onto his leg, but that didn't slow him down. He fended it off with a hammer and kept running. If he can make it to town, maybe I can as well. Thanks for letting me know. They started off faint, like a low murmur. As the storm grew, we could make out words and laughter, like from a child. Then we saw the spirit in the storm, a young woman running toward us through the field. I've never been so scared. The spirit faded before reaching us. I thought perhaps the storm had played tricks on my eyes. But the shocked look on Havel's face, it seemed like he recognized her. Before I could ask him, the wolves attacked. Who is that? If you came to eat me, you better turn right around. What are you doing in my house? First, all my workers rot away into monsters because of frozen skeleton wolves. And now strangers are traipsing about my home? You saw those creatures in the field. If I leave, they'll make me like them. I have all I need in here to hold out until they are gone. Besides, I'm not ready to see who's waiting for me out there again. I saw the spirit of someone we thought disappeared years ago. The Jarl and Lady's daughter Freywin. They never talk about it. Too painful, I suppose. I guess she died if that's her ghost who brought these cursed wolves on us.
No clue why she'd bring this upon us. Freywin always loved visiting the farm. Actually, there's someone who might know about Freywin's fate. A clever woman who speaks with spirits named Old Mjolnir. Perhaps you could ask her to help fix all this. Her hut lies to the northeast. She is a strange one for sure, always stealing my chickens for her unnatural magics. But she's the only one who understands the ways of ghosts. In the meantime, I'm going to stay right here until this all blows over. Oh yes, even as a little girl, she'd wander out here on her own. Always giggled while chasing the chickens around the field. Eventually, Lady Ninetha would arrive to bring her home, apologizing for the disruption. But I never minded. It was nice. Well, I heard things. Morthal is a small town, and people talk. Stuff about evil wizards kidnapping her. But I keep to myself and focus on the farm. No time for storybook tales. That old witch makes my skin crawl. Using chicken bones and blood for magic is unnatural. Anyone who works with Shore's power should be watched closely. But they say she talks to spirits. Might be helpful when convincing Freywin's ghost to leave.
Can I feed the chickens, Havu?
Of course, my dear. Go ahead and grab some seed.
Another traveler approaches. Come, warm yourself.